something that we definitely are going to try and get the homeless coalition in. I talked to them a little bit yesterday, and that the gist I got from it was that everyone is kind of just like, oh God, relieved that we finally have some place to put the homeless. But that's just the first piece of the puzzle. It's 9:01. We're at KUAM FM in Agotnia, Guam. This is the link on the breeze. Is that a breeze, or is that more of like a hard wind? What is a breeze?
I don't know.
Okay, so let's get right to it. Hey, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Do you. Just do you.
Thursday. We're going to be doing, oh, Lord, candidate. It's only our second day together. We're going to be doing candidate
reunited
interviews. And we'll start it off. Let's start it right now. We'll get the clock ticking and bring on, of course, incumbent Senator Therese Terlaje. Good morning, Senator, and thanks for joining us for the first of many candidate interviews here on the link.
Good morning, Sabrina. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Guam. Happy to be here this morning, and welcome back to the air. I'm very glad to hear you both on the radio again.
Thank you. It's been a rough couple of months, and for the Guam legislature especially. So I really just want to know why did you decide that you wanted to seek re-election, considering everything that's happening and the road we're looking at further down the road, and the state of our economy. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be know.
You are correct, Sabrina. It's been rough, and I think but unfortunately I'm afraid that it might get rougher, and I feel like I just feel a duty to the people of Guam to see this through. That we think it's rough at the legislature. I think they're having a really hard time making ends meet with everything going on around them. And all we want to do is be able to raise families and keep them healthy and safe. And so if they're going to persevere, I'm going to persevere as well. And I want to contribute whatever I can to getting us through this and making it better, as better as we can.
Mm-hmm.
Senator, when you talk about making it better, maybe you give us some specific examples of some areas that you think that you can really work to improve on in your next term, or even at the end of this one.
Well, I think one of the biggest things we're facing right now is a risk of loss of health care for those who have lost jobs. So loss of jobs is really it's the biggest factor, I think, in everything that we are going to do going forward. It has to be. This is impacting families dramatically. It's putting people at risk of homelessness, risk of loss of health care. And those two very much worry me. And I feel like that's where, we've got to really focus and make sure that does not happen. So it takes hard work to prioritize a budget to make sure that whatever money we do have, we can prioritize, that we can ensure that it's spent properly. We can do what a legislature is supposed to do, and that is, maintain oversight. And unfortunately, we've learned that you just can't let it go. You've got to keep going back, and making sure that they actually do what they said they were going to do. You've got to make sure that what the law says is actually what they are implementing, and that is not being ignored. And that's the reality. Unfortunately, it's not a quick fix. It takes perseverance, and it takes you got to have fortitude, I think, to just keep at it. And I think, though, that the more we do listen to the people of Guam, we allow them to have input, the more we do that, and the more that we can seek the truth and demand the truth from the government, then we can collaborate as leaders, and we can work together to actually solve problems, not just throw quick fixes at it, or what looks like a quick fix, but really get to the bottom of the issues and solve those underlying issues.
You said listening to the people of Guam. What have they been telling you, and what do they want you to focus on if reelected?
I think they want to know what is our honest fiscal situation. That's foremost on everyone's mind. They're suffering their own fiscal situations, and they want to know the truth from the government as to the government's fiscal situation. Are we going to be able to help them? Can they rely on the government to provide these services that have been critical all this time, especially healthcare? Or are we going to spend our money in a foolish way, and then they are going to be on their own even for healthcare? And I think that's what they're looking at us for. They're looking at us to we've got some federal funds, of course, to make sure that we use those to build up our economy. For example, this loss of the loss of housing that I think people are facing because of the loss of jobs. Some of them have been able to use their unemployment money to catch up on rent. Some have not. And I think that is a disaster that's not just looming in Guam, but looming across the nation. And so I've asked, GIDA to use some of that CARES money that they have received to assist small businesses, with housing, because they've actually excluded small businesses that are only rental based from any of those programs. And so I've asked them to reconsider that. I hope that they will, because I think that at the end of the declaration of emergency, when landlords are able to seek eviction, that we are going to see a flood of evictions, unfortunately, and we should avoid that at all costs. That's the work we have to do right now.
Senator,
a lot of there are so many areas, Sabrina. Yes, safety of children. We need to ensure that they are going to be safe. We've tried to put in measures to take children that are actually living on the streets. And I heard the Lieutenant Governor on with you earlier, and we need to continue that. We need to continue to ensure that homeless programs are expanded. But what we did before was we found children that were not just homeless, but were being abused because they were homeless, no place to go, no place to protect themselves from rape. And so we expanded the shelter capacities that we did have at the time prior to COVID to make sure that these children were going to be able to be housed no matter what, that no excuse to not bring the children in at the very, very least. So I'm glad that we're able to now bring in families. I hope that we can continue that type of work for the long term.
Senator, we had a question on our Facebook live feed. You talked about people wanting to know the true finances. There's a comment here from Chris writes in, Senator, do you think Gov Guam should be making reductions considering loss of revenue?
Well, yes, I think we need to be realistic about the loss of revenue. For example, I've been asking our Office of Finance and Budget, the Bureau, BBMR, DOA, at every hearing that we have had to show us the formula that they are using to go from actual losses of 45 million to projected losses at the end of the year of, I think 8 million much less. And anyways, they won't show us the formula. And I think that's one of the things that if you want us to rely on this formula and not act in the dark, you need to show us the formula. You need to show us, if you said you spent all of the excess revenues for 2019 on deficit, show us the deficit that was reduced. I've sent letters and letters asking for these types of information. We're coming up on the budget session in August without proper information. For example, GVB's estimates of loss to the Tourist Attraction Fund are much higher than the loss that is being projected by BBMR. And so that's the type of information we need to know. And cuts to the government, yes, I think just as all of our families are acting frugal when we are under threat of loss of income, the government has to do the same. And I'm not talking about layoffs, because that's the first thing people want to point to. Oh, you need to lay off. I think we need to cut excess spending. I think we need to be very critical of contracts that we are entering into, whether they are really necessary at this time or not, whether they are going towards providing an investment that we are really going to get a return on, and whether they are going towards critical services. And unfortunately, we're going to have to prioritize our services. The government is. It's not all of these projects can be funded at this time.
I wanted to ask, if you could just rate your performance from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, for your leadership in the 35th Guam legislature.
Yeah, well, okay, I don't, that's an awkward question because who wants to brag, but I'm going to just say that I think I've worked very hard. I think that if you want a public servant that is committed to hard work, I have done that, and I have done what I feel a legislature is supposed to do. That is hold agencies accountable, hold the executive branch accountable, hold the judiciary accountable. I've even had oversights of the judiciary. I think I've had more oversights than maybe any other committee in the legislature, and on a very diverse set of topics, again, trying to get to the real root of the problem, as opposed to just pointing fingers and blaming people. I want to get to the root of the problem. I want to be part of the solution, and I have worked hard, countless hours, and I think there's more work to do. Fortunately, a lot of these things you got to really stick at it, or they're going to not do what they said they were going to do. And then we've got long-standing issues in healthcare, for example, that we've got high cancer rates on Guam, and so we've got to have our healthcare system up to par to handle the high cancer rates. But we've also got to get to the root of why do we have high cancer rates on Guam. That's not all just genetics. It's not even bad diet. I think it's a lot to do with contamination that we are facing in our soils, in our waters, and we've got to prevent that with everything we have, and we've got to do everything we have to clean that up. And so that's the type of work that I've done. It can't be focused on only one thing. It's got to be broad, because our issues are broad and our families' needs are broad. And in order to be able to keep Guam as a place to raise our families safely, free from harm, keep the children free from harm, we've got to keep pedophiles off the street. So we were able, through oversight, again, to ensure that people making those decisions that are going to be letting people out after criminal sexual conduct, especially on minors, that no way they're going to be held accountable, that they are going to have tools in front of them that show them more evidence-based, decision-making tools, so that they can say this person really has been rehabilitated, which is, it's very difficult to do that for pedophiles. And so hopefully with these tools, with the increased monitoring that has occurred because of our oversight on sexual people on the sex offender registry, that I'm hoping that these are lasting changes that are going to have real impacts on reducing victims. Sorry, Sabrina, that was kind of long, but
no, that's fine. I mean, this time is for you, and we actually just have about a little under a minute left. So, in your interview, and we got to bring in the next candidate. So, just your closing comments.
Actually, sorry, Bree, we have 3 minutes left.
3 minutes.
Yeah, we started at 9:02.
Oh, okay. Sorry then.
No worries.
I'm looking at a different clock, I guess.
Okay, Senator, go ahead. I guess if you want to just start on your closing remarks, then.
Oh, well, I don't have any prepared, but I'll just say I'm very grateful for the position that I've been in, because, when I ran because I decided I didn't want to be the person on the side complaining and not doing anything. And so I thought I've, worked all my life and to try to help in any way I could, but I thought I could do more, and I still feel like I can do more. So I'm working as hard as I can, and there's still more to do. And I think I have the skills, and I have the, people aren't going to pull the wool over my eyes. And so I think that's what I bring to the people of Guam. It's that if you want the truth from your government, I'm going to help you get that. And I believe that with your help, the people of Guam's help, and the media's help, you guys have been a great help, that we are going to make a better government, make a better quality of life for everyone living here on Guam. And that's important. There's so many ways that we have to tackle that. We've got land issues that we continue to tackle, but we're making progress. And so that's what I'm hoping, if the people will have me, I'm looking forward to continued service, to continued solutions, to continued progress, and hoping that some of these issues we are going to be done with once and for all. That's what I'm working towards.
Well, thank you, Senator.
What number are you on the ballot?
I'm number one.
Number one.
Hey, Jay.
Side.
Weren't you the top vote getter in the last
you.
election?
You were the top vote getter in the last election.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, people of Guam, for that. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you,
so much,
Senator.
Senator.
Thank you. Take care.
All right.
Okay, I'll go, Mas.
Best of luck.
All right. 9:16. Well, there you go. That was our first